Nintendo certainly caused quite a nostalgia-fueled fervor with last year's NES Classic and upcoming SNES Classic. The Sega Genesis and its incredible game library absolutely deserve their own similar monument to the 16-bit glory days of blast processing. But due to a poisoned, lackluster library, this Sega Genesis Flashback looks poor next to what we've seen of the SNES Classic. Note that this $80 retro console is made by AtGames, not Sega. The Genesis Flashback boasts 85 built-in games, which sounds like a lot. Upon closer inspection, however, you'll find that only 57 of them were actually released on a Sega console. The remaining 28 are bonus games, all but unplayable rip-offs of classics like Space Invaders and Air Hockey. Of the 57 legit games included, only 45 are Sega Genesis games. The rest are a random selection of Master System and Game Gear games. But what about that 45? It's a good number, more than double the SNES Classic's 21, and many of the games here are stone-cold classics. Phantasy Star 4, for instance, might be the best RPG Sega ever made, and it's still fun hacking your way through all 3 Golden Axes with a friend. If you love Sonic, there are 5 of his Genesis games packed in, with another 4 Game Gear outings. That said, there are also many glaring omissions. From Sega's own first-party catalog, Streets of Rage, Echo the Dolphin, Toe Jam and Earl, Sonic 3, and Beyond Oasis are notably absent, and not a single sports game showed up to play. As for third-party games, you'll find only Mortal Kombat 1 through 3. That means no system highlights like Gunstar Heroes, Aladdin, Earthworm Jim, Contra Hardcore, or Castlevania Bloodlines. Ironically, even the very cool cinematic platformer Flashback is also not included in the Sega Genesis Flashback. Having spent some time with them, I'd say about 25 of the included 85 games are still really fun to play today. The 3 Phantasy Star RPGs, 2 Shining Force strategy RPGs, and Shining in the Darkness provide hundreds of hours of old-school gameplay on their own. But even among the winners, not all of the emulations run as smoothly as they should. Many games garble the audio, introducing pops and stutters to your childhood soundtrack. Certain games, like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, don't run as smoothly as they did on the real Genesis. This also applies to any physical Genesis cartridges you dust off and slot into the top of the Flashback, unfortunately. For what it's worth, the Sega Genesis Flashback is very easy to set up, packing just the console, 2 wireless controllers, an AC adapter, and an HDMI cable. You could be up and playing in no time. The console itself is similar in size and shape to the original Genesis without the satisfying weight. This is cheap, hollow plastic. The AAA battery-powered wireless controllers do a serviceable job of controlling the games, although for some reason it seems like only 2 out of 3 button presses register when navigating the game library menu. The console does include 2 controller ports, so you can plug in actual Sega Genesis 6-button control pads, and I found they work much better than the pack-ins do in the interface, and just feel more satisfying since they're the real deal. We had a couple lying around the IGN office, but not everyone who might bring home the Flashback will be so lucky, unless they're collectors or haven't cleaned out their garages in a few decades. The Sega Genesis Flashback does offer an easy way to revisit a few 16-bit gems, but there have been much more complete Genesis collections that were presented with more polish and smoother, more accurate emulation. This console is also packed with shovelware that has no business in any retro game showcase, seemingly in an effort to pad its number of included games. Sega fans are left waiting for Sega itself to make a worthy Genesis classic someday. For more gaming hardware, check out our reviews of the new Nintendo 2DS XL, the NES Classic, and the Nintendo Switch.